Russia's prolonged invasion of Ukraine has led to mounting dysfunction within the country's political system, triggering power struggles among elite factions and weakening traditional chains of command. Important stories reported, citing sources close to the Kremlin. The publication highlights that in the fourth year of the war, the concentration of power among security services has disrupted internal political coordination. Officials described the current environment as chaotic, with state institutions competing for diminishing resources and political influence. This is a systemic battle for any available resources. It's clear there are far fewer of them now. One source working within the Kremlin told important stories. According to the report, Russia's powerful security services are increasingly operating independently of both the government and the domestic policy bloc of the presidential administration. A lawmaker from the ruling United Russia Party told important stories that political decisions are now made solely through a lens of wartime patriotism, with little coordination across institutions. A serving officer from the Federal Security Service, FSB, confirmed that since the beginning of the war, surveillance tools have been redirected toward monitoring government bodies and other state institutions rather than traditional targets, such as the opposition. There used to be unity against common enemies. Now they're fighting each other, a Kremlin-linked source said. One of the key mechanisms for political pressure, the designation of foreign agents, is reportedly no longer fully controlled by the presidential administration. According to important stories, the label is now being applied not only to opposition figures, but also to business leaders and even pro-government commentators. In one case, a blogger who had praised Kremlin official Sergei Kirienko was added to the register. Kirienko, who has overseen domestic political strategy for nearly a decade as first deputy chief of staff, has reportedly come under pressure himself. Important stories cited Kremlin sources saying that he is not always informed of the arrests of senior officials, including those appointed under his authority. The publication noted that 155 government officials have been detained in 2025 alone, including mayors and deputy governors. Large-scale asset seizures have also become common. Since the war began, prosecutors have confiscated over 4.5 trillion rubles in assets, approximately $50 billion, targeting individuals with close ties to state power. Sources also linked the growing tensions to Kirienko's reported ties to Yuri Kovalchuk, a key shareholder in Bank Russia and one of Russian leader Vladimir Putin's closest allies. Other factions within the Russian elite, particularly those from the security apparatus, allegedly view Kovalchuk as a rival in the broader competition for influence over Kremlin decision-making. The longer the war drags on and the more it impacts the Russian economy, the sharper the internal contradictions become. One source told important stories. Despite the instability, the system continues to function, driven largely by bureaucratic inertia. As one former Kremlin official put it, the government could potentially keep running on fumes for years before any structural collapse. Earlier, Ukraine's Foreign Intelligence Service reported that Russian companies had entered survival mode, citing rising payment delays, falling demand, and widespread liquidity issues. Nearly 40% of businesses were experiencing overdue payments, while a majority had begun cutting administrative and operational expenses.
Republican and Democratic lawmakers showed the vast gulf Wednesday that exists between the two parties when it comes to urban crime during an oversight hearing called Restoring Law and Order in High-Crime U.S. Cities. According to Associated Press Subcommittee Chairman Representative Jeff Van Drew said, leaders in the Democratic-run cities have made political choices. Choices that put radical ideology before safety, politics before people, and criminals before the safety of the good people in our communities. For years, these cities have embraced soft on-crime prosecutors, eliminated cash bail, reduced penalties for repeat offenders, he said. They weaken the very fabric that keeps our families safe. Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin, the subcommittee's ranking member, shot back. Republicans from the White House to Congress to the state houses are systematically undermining public safety in communities across America with what I would call gangster state policies while claiming that Democrats are the blame. Raskin pointed to the Trump pardons of the January 6 defendants, as well as the pardon of Changpeng Zhao, a crypto-billionaire who founded the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. Zhao served prison time for failing to stop criminals from using the platform to move money connected to child sex abuse, drug trafficking and terrorism. Lawmakers also heard from several panel members, ranging from the dean of the Rutgers School of Criminal Justice to the mother of a Memphis, Tennessee police officer who was killed in the line of duty. Rafael Mangual, a policy expert at the Manhattan Institute, a conservative think tank, told lawmakers that Congress should pass a wide-ranging crime bill similar to what was done 30 years ago. Congress should consider an omnibus crime bill along lines of what was done in 1994, this time with a particular focus on police recruitment and retention, he said. Mangual advocated funds for improved technology, better data collection, and strengthening penalties for habitual offenders.
At the Manhattan Institute, where his research focuses on criminal justice and crime just didn't rise and come about on its own. It happened because leaders chose so. Leaders in the Democratic-run cities have made political choices. Choices that put radical ideology before safety, politics before people, and criminals before the safety of the good people in our communities. For years, these cities have embraced soft on crime prosecutors, eliminated cash bail, reduced penalties for repeat offenders. They empowered criminals, they undermined law enforcement, they weakened the very fabric that keeps our families safe. And here is the truth, the simple truth. It's not complicated, it is just reality. When you reward criminal behavior, you get more of it. It's that simple. For 4 long years, the past administration, the Biden-Harris administration, encouraged this mentality, encouraged soft on crime policies, encouraged the unraveling of law and order in what was our beautiful, sparkling cities. That changed earlier this year. And I know not everybody's going to agree with me on this, but it did. Since President Trump was sworn back in office, he has done what he always said he would do. There was no surprise here. Restore common sense, restore law and order, restore accountability. And in August, President Trump deployed the National Guard and federal agents to support local police right here in Washington, D.C. and serves in the New York State Advisory Committee of the U.S. Commission.